Hello and welcome to another episode of the Proton Pack Podcast. I'm Kris, and with me always is the baby Yoda to my Mando, Tony. Say hey, Tone.
What up, guys? How are you? Live.
It's almost like you timed it perfectly.
Sometimes I have those witty little moments. So
there you go.
Welcome, episode 42.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since our last one.
Yeah, we've had Thanksgiving, been moving, relocated. Now I am in the Fort Collins studio. It's not really set up yet. This is a quick makeshift, but we are live and we are ready to roll for another exciting episode. Kind of a slow news week overall, but
we'll make do.
We had some good news. Little breaking news right in the beginning. I was reading that the voice of Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch passed away.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so that's from our friend that we met at the Reno Pop Culture Con. He does Saturday Morning Rewind. So
Tim.
Yeah. So Tim, Carol Spiney died. So he shared that. So sad news to start, but
yeah, a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But, let's go ahead and start the way we do each and every week with a few little shameless plugs, and we even have a little theme song here. Buy Tony some time to play it.
Yeah, you did. You bought plenty of time. And roll that beautiful bean footage, buddy. It's shameless plug time.
It is in these hills that Juan Valdez and his trusty goat gather coffee beans every morning. Money is cool.
Money
is always really cool.
Well, unless you're a nonprofit like I am.
Yeah. Well, sorry. That's the only. I'm hoping that's the only technical glitch. I had to put it on the phone so I could read the comments and give shout outs. So
gotcha.
We're good now. It's shut down, focused, nonprofit. What is your nonprofit? I mean, I just don't know.
Rough Riders.
Oh, Rough Riders?
Yeah. So, Rough Riders is my dog profit non-rescue. Woo!
Okay.
Dog rescue nonprofit. We're shaking the cobwebs off a little bit. Dog rescue nonprofit. We pull dogs from kill shelters in rural areas up along the West Coast and bring them to our partner rescues and shelters that help us out, give them a second chance at life, and keep them alive and find them homes. So we're always looking for donations. We are in the process of raising money for a transport fleet, which is 2 upgraded commercial vans, $75,000 we're looking to raise, and we have the wonderful commitment of Tito's Handmade Vodka, and they are going to pitch in $10,000 towards the first $10,000 that we raise. So if we raise $10,000, it's automatically $20,000 towards our goal. So if you want to learn more, check out roughriders.org or go to facebook.com/roughriderssaves. Now, Tony, you do something every Sunday. Don't know if you're doing it today, but
tonight's going to be interesting. I will be doing it as soon as luckily the employees leave at 8:30 and I have an overnight, so don't really get a lunch or break other in that time frame. So yeah, so I'll be doing the movies tonight with Jimmy Jones on Pop Culture Kaboom. That's 95.1 KNVC, Carson City Local Community Radio out of the greater Northern Nevada area. Or you can go to knvc.org and you can stream that. Jimmy Jones brings you Pop Culture Kaboom, everything you want, everything you need. That's his tagline for the show. That streams 7 p.m. Pacific time till 9 p.m. I hit about 7:40, which is 8:40 Mountain Time if you're watching this, or if you're in Nebraska time, that's 9:40. You gotta listen till. So that's a shout out to the Nebraska friends in the time zones there, and that's the shameless plug. I didn't even cheat this time. There was no notes. I just looked into the camera and just
right off the top of your head.
Tried, yeah. I mean, we've been doing this long enough. I should kind of know, right? At this point, I shouldn't flub it up. Mother flubber.
All right. That does it for the shame. That does it for the shameless plugs. We are going to go into TV news, which we've got a little bit of this week. Go ahead and roll that beautiful.
Bazinga! The Deliver the quad!
Hey, baby.
Let's go, Father.
Excellent.
Hail to the king, baby.
Still funny at the end, the boom shakalaka. When I made that, I thought it was cool, but it really doesn't tie into a whole TV thing.
It doesn't, but who cares?
I wonder if I could find the master copy I did and kind of edit that.
There you
Throw
go.
occasional new faces. Like maybe I can find Mandalorian talking or something. Full of sound bites, man.
Speaking of the Mandalorian, so we're 5 chapters in now
Yeah,
to the
chapter
show.
5
So
dropped on Friday, yeah.
we figure we can freely talk about it now without giving up any major spoilers. The big one being that, we were introduced in the very first episode to Baby Yoda, who has become just probably the best part of that series. He's not only the comic relief, but he is also the, what's the term for it? The MacGuffin of the storyline.
Yeah. That's an official Yoda quote there, or noise.
So in an effort to make sure that wasn't spoiled beforehand, obviously with the big launch of Disney Plus coming, Disney didn't do anything as far as licensing out or promotion or toy reveals for Baby Yoda prior to the show being released. So with that now sort of behind us, Disney is going full stream ahead with all of the Baby Yoda merch. Some of it will be available for Christmas. Some of it you've got to wait till as far as April, I've heard. And some neat things. Funko, they do the Pops. They've got a couple different figures. They've got a super-sized Baby Yoda, a regular-sized Baby Yoda. There's a whole slew of T-shirts out there. And I'd expect to see we'll start getting like the plushies and, some...
Oh, yeah. I think the Funko Pop, that's the huge one.
Yeah. And
that's what I want to get.
Maybe like an animatronic Tickle Me Elmo type Baby
probably.
Yoda.
Basically all they did was take Gizmo from Gremlins and just...
The funny thing is, I even told Jesse that Baby Yoda looked like a mix between Gizmo and regular Yoda.
That's right.
Like they had a baby.
Yeah. Gizmo and Yoda hooked up.
Oof.
Baby Yoda. Well, we assumed Gizmo was a guy, right? Same.
I don't know.
There was
the female gremlin in Gremlins 2 with the lipstick. And
I love you.
But if your kids are really looking for some Baby Yoda stuff for Christmas, the supply is going to be very limited. Maybe just get them a gift card and then get it to them when the bulk of the stuff starts coming out.
Yeah, Amazon seems to be the place to get a lot of that stuff. So the link will be up on our Facebook page after the show. It might already be up there. I just don't remember. I've been moving, so I don't remember what's been posted and what's not. So I'll repost it. Feel free to click on it and go there. He is the real star of the show, that baby.
That he is. And, as I mentioned, we're 5 chapters in. I was talking to Tony before the show. I really enjoyed the first chapter. Second chapter got a little slow and got me a little worried that it would be, Walking Dead type level of where they're just trying to fill time. But everything since then has been fun, introducing some new characters. And then, of course, the overall story arc of this sort of, one Mandalorian and a little baby.
Yeah, it's the show has been really good. I mean, it seems to be like Disney Plus. What a smart way to kick that off. Jon Favreau's done such a fantastic job. I don't even think you have to be big on the Star Wars franchise to enjoy the show. Like, it's not like it follows any storylines. Obviously it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi and many decades before The Force Awakens. So it's awesome. I mean, not just saying that as a Star Wars nerd, but just as a casual fan, I think that's something you could really get into.
Yeah, it's not really something that they've explored yet, that time frame. And they've had some great guest stars come on and even a guest director. So the last episode we saw Ming-Na Wen. If you're a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she was in that. And then if you notice who directed Chapter 4 was Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought she did a really great job with it. I was actually very surprised to see it. I was like, oh, very cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, the series was developed by Jon Favreau. And Jon Favreau recently talked to The Hollywood Reporter, mostly about Baby Yoda, and now that he's been revealed to the world. And his quote is, "He's mostly a puppet. When it's CG, we try to make him obey the same physical laws that he would if he were a puppet. I think a lot of times CG makes itself too obvious, where you don't create parameters creatively that allow the character to keep the same identity and charm. We'll learn more about him over the course of the season. I think what's great about what George created is that Yoda proper, the character that we grew up watching, was always shrouded in mystery, and that was what made him so archetypal and so mythic. We know who he is based on his behavior and what he stands for, but we don't know a lot about details about where he comes from or his species. I think that's why people are so curious about this little one of the same species." So there's been a lot of, rumor chatter that maybe he's the reincarnation of Yoda, that, he's the only one left of the species. Who knows? But either way, I'm enjoying the journey.
I am too. I think it's cool. I love that they kept it a secret. Freaking cute, man. I love that they're using the puppet, and I'm glad they're not making him like do little Yoda noises. I like that they just added just baby giggles, because he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not like. Ironically enough, I did
just like that.
One. Yeah, I did actually pretty good.
It's why you fail.
Nope, that's not my Yoda.
But as I mentioned, he's been the comic relief. The scene, what is it, Chapter 5, where he's pushing the buttons.
Don't
awesome.
He's definitely meme legend status. Him and his little cup. It's got to replace the Kermit and that's none of my business meme.
or the frog hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. You can sign up for a 7-day trial on Disney Plus. It's hella worth it. It's worth the money. Enjoy,
Or if you're a Verizon Unlimited customer, you get it free for a year anyway. So why not?
Yes, absolutely. That's my name backwards. Do it. Such a crappy slogan, right?
Yeah. All right. So moving on to another Star Wars show that's coming to Disney Plus in 2020.
Obi-Wan?
No, it's Star Wars Legends of the Jedi Temple Challenge.
Did you say Legends of the Jedi Hidden Temple? Because it's the same show.
It sort of is. It's a kid-based game show that, obviously is set in a galaxy far, far away, coming exclusively to Disney Plus, hosted by Jar Jar Binks actor Ahmed Best.
Ooh, Mr. Jar Jar Binks, and you're on the Jedi Hidden Temple Jedi Challenge. Okay,
and they said that it's definitely a kids' game show like no other. The various challenges will test a Padawan's connection to the Force in 3 locations: a Forest planet, on board a Jedi Star Cruiser, and inside a Jedi Temple, immersing them and the audience in a fun, humorous, and exciting competition. It is going to be very similar to, if you grew up like us with Nickelodeon's Legends of the Hidden Temple, sort of along those same lines, and should be fun to watch. It's something I'd love to do as an adult.
Yeah, me too. This is one of those things where when I was reading this article, when you sent it over, I instantly was like, man, this is Legends of the Hidden Temple. And then, of course, it kind of mentions that at the end.
Right.
Similar, it reminds me, it also took me back kind of a part in my head when I was a kid, how I wanted to be on Double Dare so bad. So I would still do Double Dare. I'd do American Gladiators, and I would do this. So, there's a lot of game shows I'd like to totally just get on just to do.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I wonder if there's a soundbite for that.
I don't know.
I'm sure there is somewhere, but on our site, probably not. Because of copyright, No,
a little hard to find sometimes. That's okay. All right. One streaming service that we've mentioned a couple times, but not in great detail, is a service from Jeffrey Katzenberg called Quibi.
Quibi!
Now,
You can get all your favorite shows. That's Quibi. Yeah. Streaming now for T-Mobile customers everywhere. Quibi.
Now, obviously, there's so many streaming services out right now. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus, DC Universe.
Proton Pack Universe. It is. Yeah.
But Quibi's trying to set itself apart by offering shows in small chunks, basically 6 to 10 minute episodes each. Each series will run, what were they saying, 3 to 4 hours a piece, but broken into those smaller chunks. Well, one of those series that we know is coming to Quibi is something that we get a kick out of, being that I live here currently and Tony used to live here, and we're talking Reno 911.
Oh, yeah, Lieutenant Dangle.
Brings the the folks from the state, the old MTV The State. From 2003 to 2009, they did Comedy Central's Reno 911, and really did a good job of sort of making fun of the area, even though it was clearly shot in Los Angeles with all the palm trees.
Oh yeah, I loved it. But you know what I did enjoy about the show, and people that live in Reno, or like you and I have, well, you do, I have, is they actually use the street's name. They're like, we're at the Meadowood Mall on McCarran Boulevard. And it was like, there's no palm trees. I live in the shithole right across the street. It's not true.
They would use insert shots from Reno, but not actually film there.
Yeah. The show was funny, man. That Lieutenant Dangle with them short shorts, man. And the whole fact that they're going to come back and do it, I think, why not? If it helps this Quibi. But like you said at the beginning of this story, you have so many options for streaming. It's a little difficult now, like there's a lot.
Well, not only that, but from what I've heard, Quibi's going to be more expensive than Disney Plus.
No,
it's going to be like $6, $7, $8 per month.
I think you gotta go with the low budget thing. It's kind of, if you're something small like that, like it's not a real good comparison, but price point it kind of would be. Is ESPN Plus. Mm-hmm. So with ESPN Plus, you don't get like Sports Center or all the big stuff, right? You don't get any of the major cable stuff. You get Peyton's Places or Sunday Night Countdown or a couple of little tiny things, UFC. You get enough to kind of make it worth your $4.99 a month. So they went $5. Not bad for the low amount of quality you get. I would have paid a little more to have Sports Center, things like that, but I think Quibi should kind of do something along those lines. Or maybe you got to pay for the show, so you can't really do it for free. But I think a low level one, not too bad.
Low price point, yeah. Well, the good news here is that the original cast is coming back for it, so you will get Thomas Lennon, Robert Ben Garant, Carrie Kenny Silver, and Thomas Lennon recently said Reno 911 holds a special place in our hearts, and it will be a delight to get the original cast back together for reboot goofing. Hopefully Nick Swartzen can still roller skate. Obviously, if you watch the show, you'll get that reference. But if you pick up Quibi or they bundle it with something else, that's definitely going to be one of the shows to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, it's cool to see it come back. It's always nice to see. Well, it seems like kind of the trend these days. People like to dip into the old magic bag and let's see what worked. Let's try it again. So,
yeah, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but good luck to them, and Quibi, we'll keep you posted on that.
Right on. All right, that does it for TV news. Let's get into the box office report, Tony. If you got the button ready.
Yeah, I am locating that. So we're just fiddling here. Oh, here we go.
All right,
so kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I am all out of gum.
So the advantage of us doing this on a Sunday is that we get the most recent box office report. This is for this weekend. It is new. It is fresh. Of course, not a whole lot of change from last week, but you do get Frozen 2 as the number one place again with $34.6 million, maintaining its top spot.
Woo! Hooray.
Round of applause from Tony.
We never saw that coming.
Right. In second place was the Rian Johnson written and directed all-star murder mystery Knives Out with $14.1 million. Did you get a chance to see that one, Tony?
No, I didn't. I've been bad in the movie department. I did make up and saw 2 this week, which we'll get to as they come across. One you won't come across, one you will.
Right, but we'll talk about it.
I definitely want to see it. And look, I don't like Rian Johnson's, Star Wars take. And I'm even skeptical. He came out and said he wanted to do an episode of Mandalorian, and I was kind of like, eee. But you know what? Looper was great, his own stuff. And while this does look like in the vein of Clue, still looks like a fun movie. At least a one-time watch. I don't see this being a repetitive watch. So
yeah. Well, and people are enjoying it. Fans say it's a fun movie. It's a murder mystery. And obviously you get a great cast.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I would put that on definitely want to see. So,
yep. In third place, you had Ford versus Ferrari with $6.5 million.
Fantastic movie. I did see this. I liked it.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, liked it. Not going to say much more about it. Good biopic. I will say one thing. I'm kind of pissed I own a Ford, if that makes sense. And the reason why I'm a little pissed that I own a Ford or disappointed I own a Ford is how the character Henry Ford II was in the movie. He was a real dick. And his assistant was this sleazy, just nasty villain. And it was like real life. He's that little scumbag that hides in the back and just makes life hell for, Christian Bale's Ken Miles. And, so it made me kind of like, man, and just the way Ford treated Ken. And I'm just like, I don't know if I like owning a Ford now. But nonetheless, I mean, you have to kind of suspend that. But I kind of got invested. But great car movie, man. Just the whole fact that,
And of course, all of that took place 50, 60 years ago. So
yeah, it's not today, obviously, but seeing how the Shelby Cobra brand came out and stuff like that, and how he was friends with Ken Miles, and the racing and the story was just great. Great acting. Christian Bale's fantastic actor. Matt Damon. So long, short review, but worth it. So definitely go check it out.
Right on. Yeah, it's getting Oscar buzz. Speaking of biopics, in fourth place, we had the Mr. Rogers biopic, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, with $6.5 million.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Hey, Mr. Rogers.
In fifth place, you had... In fifth place, you had the racially charged drama Queen and Slim with Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith with $6.5 million.
Okay.
In sixth place, you had Dark Waters with $4.1 million. That's based on the Flint, Michigan, whole water scandal thing.
Never heard of that one.
Let's see. 21 Bridges with Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, in seventh place at $2.8 million. That one looked like it could be a fun movie.
I thought
also had
good too.
Crossbones in it too. Yeah,
realistically, can you really shut down New York City to chase down a cop killer? But
right.
Suspend your disbelief. Still looked like a really cool movie. One I wanted to see for sure.
In eighth place was the John Cena firefighter comedy Playing with Fire with $2 million.
You can't see me. You can't. I'm playing with fire. You can't see me.
In ninth place, we had Roland Emmerich's World War II movie Midway with $1.9 million.
I think that probably would have been fitting to see yesterday. Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Yeah, but I heard great things about it. Still want to see it. Have not seen that yet.
And you don't have an AMC up there, so you can't use your AMC card either.
We do have an AMC, but it is, let me think about it.
Oh, it's no bueno.
Oh, good for you.
It's one of those, let me just lay it down. It's not like the AMC people are listening anyways, but it's called an AMC Classic. And let me take you back to the original Carson City theaters before stadium seating was a thing. It's great seats that kind of move like this, and your floor is and your shoes are completely stuck to the floor with gum. If I have to, but we have Cinemark up here, so I'm in your boat now. So,
Yep.
Cinemark Movie Club wasn't in the top 10.
It bombed so bad.
That was our 400-pound gorilla last week. The movies were so bad last week that came out. That was the big dog on the Pop Culture Kaboom show.
Oh, yeah. Opening weekend made $670,000. That's it.
Oh, my God.
Oof.
Well,
but
it's basically a Lego ripoff movie. Like, who the hell wants to see it? It looks terrible.
Oh, and the humor didn't work. I saw the trailer for it. I forget before which movie, but just looked awful.
Yeah, super bad. Breaking news as we're doing this: Broncos won against the Texans. Excited. I know this is a pop culture show, not a sports show, but it's Broncos Sunday, baby.
Yep. If you're watching, you can easily tell that Tony hates the Broncos, and so
hate it.
Yep.
38-24. So their defense kind of took a rest on that last quarter, but nonetheless, we beat the Texans, which are a very good team. So.
Yep.
I was going to say, too, real quick, I know we got to move forward, but while we're in the box office, saw Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Snoochie Boochies.
Snoochie Boochies, and I didn't have my little snooch to the nooch. Here it is.
Snoochie Boochie Noochies.
Quick review. If you're a fan of the View Askew universe and you grew up loving all the movies, you're going to like it or love it. You're going to love the throwbacks to all the films, including Jersey Girl and Cop Out and Tusk, anything Kevin Smith made, minus Red State. They don't mention that, but they mention all his other movies.
Okay.
All good for fan service. It's a total fan service film. If you're the average Joe or the average person that watches the show and you don't know who Jay and Silent Bob is, probably skip it and maybe go back and watch the other stuff because you are not going to get anything in it. It's going to be one basic crap movie because the movie was bad, but in a good way, if that makes sense. Like, it was so stupid, I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was rather dumb, but I liked it. I mean, I found myself chuckling, and then I thought of us from the Reno Pop Culture Con because Keith Coogan was in it, and the running joke in the movie was, the dishes are done. Like Jay and Silent Bob, or Jay a lot, would say that line in the movie. And then when Keith Coogan came out, he goes, hey. And it was Diedrich Bader resuming his role from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Mm-hmm. Same character, looks exactly the same. Like, that dude does not age.
Right.
And he came out and goes, hey, we're out as sweet as fishes. And he goes, okay, what do you want me to do? And he goes, fishes are done. That was his line. That was his big line. So, but in a nutshell, if you get a chance to see it, I truly enjoyed it. And the only way you're really going to like it is you have to be a fan of his other movies. It's not a movie you can stumble upon and be like, I like that. Because you're going to be like, wow.
It just won't make sense.
No, and the cameos in it, and I'm not going to spoil, are it's just great. So check it out, Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So
now I know it was in limited release in theaters. Any idea when we're going to see it streaming or
I would
Netflix, Amazon, Hulu?
After the new year, because they're touring through the rest of December. Because the way they did it was unique, as opposed to like they would go town to town on that tour. They'd premiere it, do the Q&A, and then it was available for release. Because like it randomly popped up at the AMC by my house. And it was just random. It was a 10 o'clock showing, and it was totally a Fathom event thing. And they talked as if it just came out. They still were in October at the beginning of the intro. So, but yeah, I would imagine you'd see that digital within the next month for sure. So it's definitely worth a check out if you're a fan of Kevin Smith movies, View Askew. But if, like I said, if you're just the average moviegoer, you're not going to like it because it was pretty bad.
Yeah, because I know that tour's not coming anywhere near Reno, so I got to wait till it's out on streaming.
Yeah, predicting tonight, if you listen to Pop Culture Kaboom, that it's going to be a touch brown from Jimmy Jones. That's just my prediction. Spoiler alert, I want to see it. So.
All right. That does it for Box Office Report. Let's move on to the movie news, Tony, if you can get that button.
And here we go.
Are you the Keymaster?
Back it up, fuzzball.
We came, we saw, we movie kicks its ass. This baby hit 38 miles per hour. They're gonna see some serious shit.
All right, so a couple days ago, we got the trailer for the brand new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, which may see Daniel Craig in the role of James Bond probably for the last time. It's obviously a
Obviously?
Obviously.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
It's obviously a continuation of the storyline that he's put together. We see Christoph Waltz coming back as Blofeld and Léa Seydoux, Dr. Madeline Swan, coming back and maybe even betraying James Bond. And we get a new villain who is Rami Malek, if you know.
Did the show. Definitely looked awesome, and I think...
So, a little over 5 months, 6 months now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not long. And what I like is, this week, just out of nowhere, man, just the trailer announcements of just teasers. Like now it's not just a trailer. Now it's a tease. It's like, it's coming.
Right.
Tomorrow. It's coming. Monday. I don't know what this is. Like, I'm trying to tease you with cleavage I don't have. And why would you want to see cleavage on a man? It's disgusting.
Not on you, Tone.
No,
sorry.
No. About new.
But speaking of teases, and obviously the namesake of this show, the Proton Pack, the tease of the century that we've been looking forward to, the trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to arrive tomorrow, Monday, December 9th, and I am excited. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, it will already be out, so go check it out. But if you are watching this live, we are super excited that that's going to hit tomorrow. Uh-oh. Did we lose Tony? Did everything freeze? Nope.
No, I didn't. I froze. You were on my screen like this.
That's all right. You froze like this.
Time in. Okay, so where did we leave off? Because we started talking about the Ghostbusters trailer, and I was going to tell you it was on our Facebook page, and then it just froze, and I'm like, well, crap. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I basically just said that the trailer was going to drop tomorrow, and then pure silence.
Yeah,
so.
I can't wait. So what? I was so excited that I just froze like this. Yeah. So shout out to Bill for checking in with us. Hey, Bo. Bo. God, I'm struggling today. I'm tired.
Hey, Bo.
Hey, Bo. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks, bro, for checking us out.
So a couple new bits of news that are in here that play a little bit into the story. Jason Reitman revealed to Vanity Fair that the storyline is as the family arrives at an old farm, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters. Trevor and Phoebe are about to find out who their grandfather was and whether they're ready to pick up the Proton Pack themselves. So that goes to tell us that their grandfather was either Venkman, Stantz, or Spengler, probably not Winston.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, probably not. I think it's Egon. I think it all leads to Egon with the title that's supposedly going to be called Ghostbusters Afterlife. I mean, everything leads to Egon. So.
Yeah. And then we also know more about Paul Rudd's character. He is going to be playing Mr. Gruberson, who is the kid.
Gruberson!
Who was a kid when the spooky events of the original Ghostbusters had occurred. In the film, Mr. Gruberson is a summer school teacher who's remained obsessed with what history has dubbed the Manhattan Crossrip, a technical term for that long-ago bizarre incident in New York involving an apocalypse-summoning skyscraper, a gargantuan killer marshmallow man, and 4 working stiffs who managed to fight back against an ancient Sumerian god named Gozer. So,
you're a god.
I'm wondering, is Paul Rudd maybe going to be the antagonist in this?
Ooh. I don't know.
Just a thought.
It's a good thought. We'll see, man. I can't wait. I hope like Rick Moranis pops in. I can't wait. I was having a conversation with a Ghostbuster fan at work, and I mean, she was I hate reboots. Like, she's anti-reboot. So for her, she's like, it's going to be stupid. I go, you haven't even seen the trailer yet. She goes, stupid. I'm like, I don't share the same. I think this one's going to be awesome. I'm giddy. That's the movie I'm excited most to see next year.
Me too. So watch out for that trailer hitting tomorrow, or like I said, if you are listening to the podcast, it's already out. Same goes with Wonder Woman 1984. And they have released a little 20-second teaser. Looks more of the same fun that we had in the original Wonder Woman movie. We get the Wonder Woman.
You're my Wonder Woman. Please never do that again. Keep your day job, Sanfilippo. Jesus.
Exactly. But so we get 2 new trailers on Monday. And then Wonder Woman 1984 obviously stars Gal Gadot, Pedro Pascal, who's under the mask in The Mandalorian, Chris Pine, not exactly sure how they're going to do that, considering it takes place in 1984 after World War I.
Time travel, my friend. Time travel.
Probably. And then Kristen Wiig is going to be the main antagonist.
That could be interesting. All right.
Yeah.
I like surprisingly, I liked the first Wonder Woman. It was for a DC flick, it wasn't too bad. So
no, it was one of the rare non-missteps from Warner Brothers and DC when it comes to the movies.
Yeah, and right now for you guys live streaming, Chris and I have not seen the trailer yet because it had not dropped. It's officially just dropped within the last 10 minutes. So go to the Facebook
seriously?
page. Yeah, like you and I can watch it after. Maybe next week we'll discuss what we thought of it.
There you go. All right, sticking in the news. Posted a little thing on Twitter, just, hi, Peter. No word yet if he's going to be playing a corrupt cop named Wasserman or perhaps District Attorney Harvey Dent, who eventually becomes, knocking that around,
Yeah.
Two-Face.
Ooh, it would be good. I like his picture in that Instagram where he's just like, he looked like me like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And what's great is I actually, because I can see the delayed on my phone for the episode as it's recording. And totally, you're talking and you're doing it. I can't hear, but I'm just like.
And you're frozen.
I look like somebody just shit in my Wheaties. I don't eat Wheaties, so it doesn't matter.
Yummer. One of the main reasons that people are thinking that he is going to be Harvey Dent or Two-Face in this movie is that his wife, Maggie Gyllenhaal, posted a cryptic tease on Instagram with a photo of him halfway through his shave.
I like that little tongue in cheek there.
Yeah. So we have to wait till June 25th, 2021. So over a year and a half to see this movie, but I don't think it'll disappoint.
Yep. So
you back, Tone?
I don't know. This, like, I thought we were gonna have a pretty glitchy free, but this is like it's like a pop-up shop, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of pop up now. I should share that. I'm sharing you the text picture of what it was on my screen. Oh, you're gonna love your face, buddy.
Right on.
Well, all right, we roll on. I'm excited for this, for the Batman. The announcements just make it seem that much cooler and cooler every time. So
it does.
I'm getting excited for this one.
I'm Batman.
All right, and then finally the last bit of DC Warner Brother news is that Zach Snyder, who directed most of the Justice League before having to step away due to personal tragedy, which was then taken over by Joss Whedon for the Justice League, has confirmed that the Snyder Cut of Justice League actually exists. It's been rumored for a while. Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck have tweeted out their support behind it, and it's something that the fans have wanted to see because the reception to what actually came out in theaters was a little less than stellar.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It was really bad. The problem with that was DC didn't try to be original. They tried to chase and catch up to Marvel, and they were so sloppy about it that they had the talent, but they just didn't utilize right. I would have made a Broncos joke, but we kicked ass today, so I can't really use them as an example. But we'll say it was the Joe Flacco era Broncos, the earlier this season, where you had talented people on the team, but you didn't execute it right. So
yeah, there were some decent elements to it, and Zack Snyder definitely has a look to his movies that made it look cool. But as far as the story, the way it was just sort of hodgepodge together, really didn't fit so well. So I'm hoping that. Are you okay?
Yeah, but it keeps freezing. It's like it was getting glitchy. I'm like,
all right, and then finally that takes us to our trailer of the week, which is a movie we've been excited to find out more about, and that is the next in the Marvel Studios line, Black Widow. Obviously, we see
of the week. That worked so much better when it wasn't video, because it just looked ridiculous.
We see Scarlett Johansson. Whoa, I can't speak today.
Oh man! We're not even drinking. This is the great thing.
I know. Like I said, we're just dusting off the cobwebs. It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a while.
But this film is set in the 2-year gap between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, and shows Scarlett Johansson reprising her role as Natasha Romanoff, also known as the Black Widow. The trailer looks like so much fun. We've got her sis, who's Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh.
Pubes? Florence Pubes, all right.
There's a father figure, Alexei Shostakov, who is Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. My guess is he's the comic relief in this.
Yeah, I'm glad. He looks better in this than he did in Hellboy. Yeah, that's for sure. Like,
I still haven't seen that.
You ain't missing anything. That. There is a current meme going around like Hopper is alive. At the spoiler if you didn't watch Stranger Things 3, but it shows Finn and Dustin. They come around the corner. And I said Finn, but that's Mike, his character.
Yeah.
Came around and they're like, he is alive, and he's putting on the Red Guardian gear. Yo, Fitz,
funny.
You're fat.
And then you have Rachel Weisz, who plays Melina Vostokov, who, if you're familiar with the comic books, later becomes the supervillain known as the Iron Maiden. So my guess is that there's a falling out in this family.
Such a bitchin' name.
Yep. And the main antagonist in this movie, which we knew early on was going to be the Taskmaster. Taskmaster is a character who can mimic the fighting abilities of anybody he faces. And so I paused on he, and this is me just coming out there and throwing a little...
Are you super sleuthing?
I'm super sleuthing, but in the trailer, when Black Widow meets her sister in the apartment or wherever they're at, and they start exchanging blows, and every movement is a mirror of what the other is doing, my guess is that sis will end up being Taskmaster.
Ooh.
They're going to do
I like these. I can't wait to see
a gender bender.
We'll have to remember episode 42 when you called this. It's kind of weird to me. Like, the movie looks awesome. Comes out in May. Definitely going to see it. Kind of surprised it didn't come out during the Infinity Saga. I wonder how it sets up for whatever new saga we're about to embrace. Are we going with Galactus? Is that where we're headed? Who knows?
Right.
That's where
King the Conqueror.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes, and definitely can't wait for May. Come on, summer movie season.
And we know in this film we're at least going to see Robert Downey Jr. one more time as Tony Stark.
Yeah, it's that's cool. And the IMDb kind of spoiled that because they put him in the list of actors. So
yeah. All right, so that does it for movie news. Obviously, check out the trailer on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Proton Pack Podcast. We are going to move on to video games now. We've got a couple stories there, and then we will let you guys get on with your Sunday.
I like it.
Hey man, you want to play some video games? Oh, he's on fire!
All right, so the first bit of video game news, Super Mario Maker 2, which came out, just a couple months ago, Tone?
Yeah, it came out end of June, early July, right around that time frame. So yeah, not too long ago.
With that game, we're seeing some new updates, DLCs, if you will, and a couple of them are nothing really to write home. You know, you get the introduction of classic Mario foes Spike and Pokey, but the big announcement is that you will be able to play as the 8-bit version, Legend of Zelda Link, and utilize his sword and his shield within Super Mario Maker, which I think is a fun addition to what's already a fun game.
Oh, absolutely. Things I wish they would have done, they limit it only to the classic Super Mario Brothers, so you only get to play as 8-bit. Would have loved to seen, I don't know how you could have really done 16-bit Link. I guess you could have made him sideways like that because he was always the top view in the one, Link to the Past.
Right.
So they could have done that in the Super Mario World setting. And then, of course, for the modern games, they could have done just a kind of the 3D. But maybe since it was a free update, maybe they just went basic pixelation, simple. One thing I really wish they'd add to it, and I know they just don't own the rights or something, but I would love if they would tie in some Super Mario Brother 2 stuff, just so you have every element, just slowly add things. Like, even if you added like Game Boy stuff, like Mario Land and things, just for shits and giggles,
Hey, it may be coming down the pipeline, but, Super Mario 2 was such a fun game, even though it wasn't necessarily developed by Nintendo. It was just a reboot of Toki something?
Yeah, Toki Panic!
But, so if you have Super Mario Maker 2, as Tony said, it is a free update. You don't have to shell out any money to be able to play as 8-bit Link with the Master Sword.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll have a review hopefully by the next episode. Again, setting up shop. Haven't really had time to play a lot of video games and do much with the move. But I'll let you know how it goes because I do have that game and it gives me a reason to go back and play it. So
and dive back into it. Right on. All right, our next story is actually a review of a new semi-console that was just unleashed, at least if you were lucky enough to get the Founders Edition back on November 19th.
And this is the one you are super excited for.
It is, and we're talking Google Stadia. Now, the unique thing about Google Stadia, unlike a Xbox or a PlayStation or a Nintendo, is you don't have to buy the actual box. All you do is you buy the controller, you go through Google Chrome, and Google's web services and backend takes care of all of the rendering, instantaneous download, instantaneous play, and the concept is really what the future of gaming looks to be. Now, with that being said, IGN released their review of the Google Stadia, and we didn't expect it to be a perfect launch coming out of the gate, and it certainly had its fair share of problems or downfalls within its launch time. So,
and I got to say too, I think that's just given Google has never been in the video game market. I mean, I wouldn't really hold it against them on that. Launching something new is definitely tough, but it sucks because it's their first impression. That's kind of a bad thing.
Right. And the downfalls to it are less about the quality of what's coming out, because what they are saying is that it's not running into issues of latency or artifacts or anything along those lines. The games look great. They come in at a 4K resolution, even though they're technically 1080p up converted to 4K. But it's more about just the lack of available games, and the interface to get to the games is a little sloppy, not the greatest, and that it is a huge suck on your data if you are capped by your internet service provider. So, if this is something you plan on picking up, definitely look into who is your internet service provider. Don't go with one that provides a data cap, because you will hit that very quickly.
Yeah.
They were saying that within the first hour, they had used 9.5 gigabytes of data.
Dang,
within an hour of use. Yeah.
That's not good. I think that was along the lines of my last place I lived at, with you had all the kids on like 3 tablet devices and their 2 video game consoles all at the same time. A lot.
So they said the interface is a little funky, that, again, the rollout, some of the people who got the Founders Edition didn't get the access code until like 4 days after it was actually released. But my guess is, as things start to move along, as they release more games, as they fine-tune certain things, that this will become a really great alternative to buying Xbox or PlayStation 4 at a much lower price at that.
Yeah, I think, somebody's got to get out there every once in a while and be the leader that sets the precedence in the market, and doesn't always work out in the leader's favor. I can think of the Dreamcast being that way, that ushered in at that time in 99, it ushered into those, 128-bit graphics that were so great at the time. It's weird to think about. And I think some of the graphics still hold up pretty well, but
yeah.
That set the groundwork for Xbox and PlayStation 2. Like it upped the ante, and just unfortunately, and they were the first out the gate with online play and things like that. And look, and these are things we use today. So Google Stadia has the right idea on a lot of things, and I'd be interested in picking it up just to try it, but I don't know if and when I'll get around to something like that. But I like the idea of the taking it on the go. You got to compete up with the Switch. Matt, I think taking it on the go might be something more for, I don't have a lot of time, but if I could squeeze in time on the side, that at least if it's on the go, I can do that.
Right. Being able to play a game like Mortal Kombat 11 on the go.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the biggest thing is that Google was pushing really hard to have this out before the holiday season, and realistically, they should have waited until everything was absolutely ready.
Yeah, they should have gotten more testers involved, and definitely ran a few betas and things just to kind of work out the kinks and bugs, so that way you get a real fresh take. So
yeah. So if you want to play it now, you can buy the $129 Premier Edition, which will allow you, obviously is way less than if you buy a brand new Xbox or PlayStation 4. But if you don't want to go that route and want to wait for the $69 controller or the $9.99 Stadia Pro subscription, you still have to wait a little bit.
Yeah. So again, the review is going to be up on our Facebook page. Kris and I have not played it, so we can't fairly review it ourselves. But if you have it, chime in and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear. So, we're going to throw that one out to you guys on that.
Yep. All right. Moving on to our last story. Obviously we're into December, just past the first week. And this is the time of year when all of the lists start coming out. Top 10 lists and this list and that list. Well, we have our first list based off of video games from IGN, which are the 15 worst reviewed games of 2019. Now, we'll rattle through some of these. I'm not familiar with a lot of them.
Yeah.
But the ones we are familiar with, we'll comment on.
Definitely. And I was going to say, too, it gave me just an idea when we talk about end of the year. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea if we did a, towards the end, we'll do on one of our episodes, maybe a best of as far as what was our favorite, like movies this year, or what was the worst.
And TV shows.
Yeah, something like that. So
I like
save those for our segments, not next week. Next week, we'll talk about some of the best video games that were reviewed. Due to time restraints, we're going to cut that this week. But next week, we'll talk about that. Ghostbusters trailer.
Wonder Woman.
I was going to say Wonderwall. That's why I had to stop it.
Cue the song.
Yeah. Wonderwall. You get it twice. So we'll do that in a couple weeks leading into the holiday. And with that, let's go ahead and roll into the 15 worst reviewed games at 2019. Coming.
All right.
Number 15.
Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Die. I didn't even know they were still making Leisure Suit Larry games.
These were, for those that don't know who Leisure Suit Larry is, this was like when, I don't know if it was ever cool when we were kids. It was fabled. It was about this real loser named Larry who wore a leisure suit, and he just was, the goal was to get him laid. Like literally you filled up a sperm meter. Like the goal was just to go get laid. And the problem is if you're sitting there playing that game, odds are you are not getting laid, my friend.
And most of them were like text-based computer role-playing games where you type in go left, go right, open door, get laid. It was terrible games, and they had funny cartoony graphics that in the time when we were kids growing up were sort of a novelty. But I mean, at this point, why still make those games?
It's terrible. I liked what the reviewer put in here. I'm not going to read the whole little snippet of the review, but at the end it said lack of meaningful puzzles and limp sexual jokes that don't appeal to even the most immature of us. Sorry, Larry. Better luck next time. It's like they kind of threw the limp in there.
Yeah. All right. At 14 was Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, which, Wolfenstein has made actually a pretty good comeback in the last couple of years. But this was their first entry into the VR space on PlayStation VR. And apparently it fell really flat and was more just like a demo than anything else.
Yeah, pixelated boobs. Looks awesome.
Yeah. Decay of Logos, game I've never heard of, but I guess they tried being like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
You gotta just know with the name Decay of Logos.
It sounds like when you pick something up or you order something on Amazon that clearly came in from China, and you read the instructions, and the words are almost correct, but not quite right.
Yeah.
That's what this seems like.
Yeah. Don't know the game, can't comment on it, but no thanks.
All right. In number 12, Vane. Again, game not familiar with.
Oh, good for you.
11, Devil's Hunt.
Get in my belly. Come on.
10, Monster Jam, Steel Titans. Monster Jam!
It's time.
This Sunday.
Here we go. Gravedigger versus The Undertaker.
You can buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Come now down at the Dirt Mart in Reno, Nevada at the Reno Livestock Event Center, then coming down to the Denver Coliseum, where they always seem to be. Monster.
Right. All right. Number 9, Generation Zero, from the developer that made the Just Cause series and Rage 2, which fell flat. Number 8, Submersed. Survivor horror continues to be a genre fairly niche. Have no idea what that is. Number 7, FIFA 20 Legacy Edition for the Nintendo Switch.
FIFA.
And these FIFA games are typically really good.
I think it's because it's on the Switch. Maybe that's why.
It just doesn't have the processing power to give you everything you'd expect from.
Yeah.
And I was trying to buy you a little time for this next one because I know you have strong thoughts on it. WWE 2K20.
Woo! The cream of the crop.
Oh, man. You talk about a buggy game. Just do yourself a favor. Type in WWE 2K20 glitches on YouTube. There is some horrific, like, how in the hell did this game get released? It is a dumpster fire. I'm not going to play it. I have no desire. I haven't played a WWE game since 2004 or 5. Yeah, it's a long time. But this game just looks like dog crap. It is bad.
Yeah, it looks like it was made for the PlayStation 2.
Yeesh, you're terrible.
Yep. Number 5, Dollhouse, first-person action-adventure game.
For you.
Number 4, a game that I wasn't even familiar with came out and don't even know where it came out on, Contra Rogue Core. maybe you can shed a little light on this, Tony.
Yeah, I got to play they had a free play for Black Friday where you could download it and actually play it. Terrible. It's an abomination. They should have not used Contra in the title at all. Konami completely dropped the ball and shit the bed on this game. Doesn't play like classic Contra. Reminds me, you remember the PS1 Contras, the top-down ones where really crappy. It was a throwback to those. Real like Legacy of War and the Contra Adventure on PlayStation 1. Two thumbs way down. This game was crap.
It wasn't even a side scroller?
Nope. It was all top down and you play as a panda and it's just terrible. Terrible game.
All right. Number 3, Blades of Time.
No, I'll go back and play Blades of Steel.
Oh, totally. Getting into fights?
Yeah.
That was the best part of that game.
I'm sure on the 8-bit Nintendo that still does way better than that thing.
Totally. Left Alive, which is a game from Square Enix with a rare misstep.
Yeah.
Tiger uppercut.
They usually do really good, but...
Yep. And the number 1 worst reviewed game with a Metacritic score of 36, Eternity: The Last Unicorn.
Yay!
Bazinga.
Again, game I'm not familiar with. It's a fantasy-based game. Fixed camera style in the vein of Onimusha or Resident Evil, but apparently this was just a giant turd of a game.
Oh my god, just the unicorn picture of that. Do it for the unicorns! Just do it!
Yo!
My god, I hope it has a cheesy theme song at the beginning. Eternity, the last unicorn. We're using the Denver theme. Last unicorn, eternity. Quit singing San Filippo.
So being that these were the 15 worst reviewed games of the year, I'm happy to know that I've only heard of a few of them.
Yeah, I've the only games I actually played on there, actually out of the 15, the only one I did play was Contra, and I would agree with that. I'll have to think of some of the worst ones I've played and make my own list, but off the top of my head, Contra was definitely one of the worst ones I've played. I tend not to play too many bad games. I'll try them out if they're free on Xbox Live or the Game Pass. Like during Black Friday, they had a deal for the Game Pass for 3 months for $1. Mm-hmm. So I tried a couple of games on there, and there's some crappy games, but I'm not paying for them. It's not a game that I bought this year that I can think of where I was like, oh my god, why did I buy this? It's so bad. Contra would be one of those. If you bought it, you'd be really pissed. So.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to next week. We can talk. I'm more positive in the video game area where I want to talk about games that we like, that we've played, and we'll get to do that next week, and we'll see what IGN reviewed. I'm sure this will be a much more entertaining one, and you guys will probably have heard of all the games there next week. So
exactly. Well, that does it for this week's show. Thank you guys for tuning in, if you tuned in, or downloading the podcast. Please subscribe, review, download. Let us know what you thought. Go on to Facebook, facebook.com/Proton Pack Podcast. Drop us a line. And as always, we thank you guys for tuning in with us.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week. Support Rough Riders. And we'll see you next week. I will bid you adieu.
I am Hasta la vista, baby.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Mommy, where's Fluffy?
Goodbye.
Trying to end the broadcast.